Another example with these sorts of things. So let's multiply this in 4 different ways and see what we get. Okay, first way might not be the most interesting because you're used to it, but let's just do it and we'll check the others by it. So what we're going to do is we're going to do row, column. So I'm going to get 2 times 9 plus, which is 18, plus 1 times 8, 18 plus 8. So I'm going to get 26. And then I'm going to get 10, 0, and 1, so it's going to be 11. And then I'm going to get 9 times 7, 63, plus, well, it looks like 16. So 63, 73, 79. And then finally, I'm going to get 7 times 5 plus 3 times 5. Well, that's like 10 times 5, which is 50, plus 2 times 1. So 52. So that's one way of doing this. Now, the next way is I just take the first row times, I take the first column times the first row. So the first column times the first row, I'm looking here and here. So I get 2 times 9, which is 18. Remember, we do the addition at the end. 2 times 5 is 10. Then I get 7 times 9, which is 63, and 35. And now I take the second and the second, so 0 times 0, 0 times 5, 0, and a 3, but then I get a 3 and a 5, so I get a 15 there. And now, what do I get for the last? Well, I'm going to get 1 times 8, 8, 1 times 1, then 2 times 8, which is 16, and then 2 times 1, which is 2. And then I add these together. So I get 18 and 8, which is 26. I get 11 there, 63 and 16 again, 79. And then 35 and 15 make 50 with a 2, and I get 52. Okay? So now let's try and do this a third way. So what this is going to be is it's going to be a set of instructions acting on the second matrix. So maybe it's time for me to rewrite it. No, not really. I have room. So I want this to be a set of instructions on the rows. So this is saying, hey, let's take 2 times the first row, which is 18, 10, and I add it to this. So what am I going to get? Well, I'm going to get 2 times the first row, 18, 10, plus this. So that's 26, 11. 18, 10 plus 8 and 1. Now here, I'm going to take 7 times the first row. This is tricky here. This one is not nice in this method because I have to take 7 times this row plus 3 times this row plus 2 times this row. Man, I'm not envying this. Okay, so what do I get? I get 63, 35 plus 15 on the right, so that I'm up to 63, 50, and then plus a 16 and a 2. Well, that gives me a 79 and 52. But that was not so pleasant. But the next way would be to think of this as instructions of the columns of the first. So basically this is telling me to take a certain set of instructions, and this is telling me to take a certain set of instructions on these 3 columns. So let's try and do that over here. This is saying, hey, take 9 times the first column and 8 times the second. So 9 times the first column that's going to be 1863, and 8 times the third. So that's going to be 816. So one more time, I'm saying this is telling me to take 9 times the first column plus 0 times the second plus 8 times the third. So 9 times the first, one more time, 1863, and the 8 times the third is going to be 816. So I get 26, and then I have the 63 plus the 16. Well, I kind of memorized 63 times 16 by now. Don't have to compute it for the 4th time because we've actually had to do that a lot. You sort of see how these all amount to the same. This is telling me, hey, take 5 times the first column, 5 times the second. Well, That's like taking the first and second columns and multiplying by 5, right? So that's going to be 2 and 10 times 5, 10 and 50. So I get 10 and 50 plus 1 times the second. So that adds a 1 and a 2. So we get the same thing here. The last two methods are actually a lot better if you have more zeros and ones or zeros and minus ones. You can go very fast with them. Here, with exactly 1/6 of the numbers being 0, not the speediest, but not really that much slower. I mean, we all had to do the same amount of computation, but you can sort of see that we're looking at it in a different way. In any case, that's a nice example with slightly larger matrices for you to look at.